the park upgrade at Lake Poway, and maybe you've seen social media posts from the city of Poway or from other folks. I mean, I know Chris Cruz posted a few about the upgraded park at Lake Poway, and they're putting in a new playground area there, and it's nice. It's all upgraded, and the what was there before was, I mean, I remember when my children were playground age children, and this was 15 to 20 years ago. And the playground there at Lake Poway was not good then either. I mean, they had like this wooden ship in the sand of the playground, and the wood was old, and parts of it were not, they weren't nice. And so they upgraded it, and good on them. They spent all this money, they upgraded it. According to Steve Voss, as we ring in the new year, we have much to celebrate. A brand new state-of-the-art playground at Lake Poway, improvements at Community Park and Star Ridge Park, and of course, tremendous progress on the clear wall replacement project, which I'll talk a little bit more in a moment. Yeah, this is nice. It's funny. Again, I reference Chris Cruz a lot because she's very outspoken. She says things that I agree with and things I don't agree with. But, she has a substantial following here in Poway, kind of a vocal minority. And she is very vocal about parks and how we're not building enough parks, and we need more shade in the parks, and we need this with parks and that with parks. And, I mean, we all kind of prioritize parks differently, right? On our stack ranking of what we want our city to do. To me, parks are a nice to have, but not a mandatory thing that the city should be really heavily investing in. But the fact that they did this to Lake Poway, yeah, it's nice. It's a nice upgrade, and they definitely needed something there for sure. Okay. Pete Neal on the live stream. You have a great habit of providing focus on separate quote things and making them one. In this case, the city and the country, rodeo, and projects. Perhaps we should think about tying those three together. Pete goes on to say, not many people can get the peace and tranquility of a horseback ride on our miles of trails. Perhaps we should focus on that again, bring the country back to the city. Those are fair points. Now, a lot of these things, I purposely break these into segments like a news story, so I can have clips that are independent segments of like 3 to 5 minutes, and I share those on my YouTube channel and on social media. But yeah, a lot of these things are integrated. A lot of it has to do with leadership that spans these projects. A lot of it has to do with the kind of the culture and the energy in our city and what residents are talking about and what's important to them. And there's certain themes, and definitely people here in Poway do like the fact that we have a great trail system, that we do have a lot of open space. Some people think we don't have enough. Some people think that we need to not worry so much about the open space. We need to build more parks. We need more shade in the parks. We need more, baseball and softball and soccer fields. There's a lot that can be debated and discussed. But yeah, having the tranquility of a horseback ride on our miles of trails. I mean, that sounds so calming. So, Norman Rockwell, walking around Poway, riding a horse. Just as a tangent, this is just one of my pet peeves when it comes to horses in Poway. And I like the horses. Yeah, I'm not a horse guy. But, if I see a horse going down the street, it looks odd to me to see a horse on asphalt or on the sidewalk, but you do see them. But mostly, yeah, they're on trails, and that's fine. But the thing that kind of my pet peeve is that there are some people that are so vocally loud about their objection to dog poop, but never really share the same objection to horse poop. And I think one's natural, one's not. One you should clean up, one you don't need to necessarily clean up. I've often found that to be a contradiction. But at any rate, yeah, I mean, more horseback trails on our area would be terrific. Pete goes on to say, at one point in time, we had more miles of equestrian trails than any other city in the country. In the country or the county? I believe you, Pete. I mean, we've had a lot of trails, and I think they've even expanded some of those trails. That's kind of a fun thing to do, by the way. I did this where I got the Poway trail map out, and I just started going through the trails. And I said, okay, I'm going to do this one and that one. I kind of had like a checklist, a punch list to go down. And I never finished that, but I did a substantial number of those trails. I should get back on that horse and try that one again.